Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking your phone, and seeing your bank balance at zero. Not because you spent it, not because you were hacked, but because overnight, the money you thought you had simply lost its value. It sounds like a dystopian movie plot, but history shows us it has happened, over and over again. And the reason is something we all use every day without questioning. Fiat money. Most people think money is this solid, reliable thing, a foundation for our lives, our plans, and our dreams. But what if I told you money, as we know it, is just an illusion? A carefully maintained system of trust that can collapse faster than you think. Let's rewind thousands of years. In ancient civilizations, money wasn't just numbers or paper, it was tangible. Romans used gold coins, stamped with emperors' faces. In China, silver ingots were traded across vast regions. On Pacific Islands, massive stone discs served as currency. The common thread was intrinsic value. Your coin, your ingot, your shell had value in itself. If the government failed, your gold coin was still gold. This system made sense, but it had a problem. Gold and silver are limited. If a ruler wanted to spend more than they had, they couldn't simply create more gold, and that was inconvenient for those in power. Over time, governments realized they could issue money not backed by any physical commodity. Instead of saying, "This piece of paper represents gold in our vault," they simply declared, "This piece of paper is money. Because we say so." That is fiat currency. The term fiat comes from Latin, meaning "let it be done," a command that started slowly. Paper notes would often still be redeemable for gold or silver, just to keep people's trust. But behind the scenes, leaders knew they had found a tool of almost unlimited power, the ability to create money at will. And with that power came temptation and consequences. Fast forward to August 15, 1971, the world is watching as U.S. President Richard Nixon delivers an unexpected announcement. The United States will no longer allow dollars to be exchanged for gold. With a few sentences, the link between the U.S. dollar and real tangible value was gone. From that moment, the dollar became a pure fiat currency. Its value was based entirely on faith in the U.S. government and economy. And since the dollar was the world's reserve currency, other nations quickly followed. It was like cutting the anchor off a ship and hoping the currents would be kind. With fiat money, governments can create more currency whenever they choose, especially during wars, recessions, or political crises. But here's the catch. Every time new money enters the system without a corresponding increase in goods and services, each existing unit of money becomes worth less. That's inflation, the silent thief that eats away at your savings. In the United States, a dollar in 1971 had the same buying power as about $7 today. That means if you kept $1,000 under your mattress since then, it's now worth less than $150 in purchasing power. And this isn't unique to America. In the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, the same story. Prices rise, your money buys less, and most people don't even notice until it's too late. If this is opening your eyes, you're only scratching the surface. At Investor School, we break down the forces shaping your financial future so you can prepare, protect, and grow your wealth even when the system changes. Hit subscribe now, because the next shift in money is already underway, and you don't want to be caught off guard. Fiat money works as long as people trust it. But when that trust disappears, it collapses often in spectacular fashion. Take Weimar Germany in the early 1920s. After World War I, the government printed enormous amounts of money to pay reparations. The result was hyperinflation so extreme that workers were paid twice a day, because prices rose between morning and afternoon. People carried cash in wheelbarrows to buy bread. Or Zimbabwe in the late 2000s, where inflation hit 89.76 trillion% in a single year. Banknotes of 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars became worthless souvenirs. In both cases, the story was the same. Too much money chasing too few goods, combined with a collapse of confidence in the currency. Today, we're entering a new phase. Digital fiat. Your salary is just digits in a bank's database. Your transactions are mostly swipes, taps, and online transfers. It's convenient, but also fragile. In a fully digital system, a single government order, a bank freeze, or even a cyber attack could lock you out of your money instantly. And now, central banks are exploring central bank digital currencies, programmable money that could, in theory, be restricted to certain purchases or even have an expiration date. Imagine money that disappears if you don't spend it fast enough. That's not science fiction. It's being tested right now. Fiat money shapes every investment decision you make. When governments print more currency, asset prices often rise, not always because those assets are more valuable, but because each unit of money is worth less. This is why real estate, stocks, and commodities can surge in price during inflationary periods. It's also why some investors turn to gold, silver, or cryptocurrencies. Assets not directly tied to the fiat system, they're looking for something the printing presses can't create out of thin air. Fiat currency gives extraordinary power to those who control it. Usually central banks and governments, they can stimulate economies, manage crises, and respond to disasters. but they can also manipulate markets, influence elections, and, in extreme cases, erode personal freedoms. The question is, how long can this system last? History tells us no fiat currency has survived forever. Everyone eventually collapsed or was replaced. So now that you know the story, what will you do with it? You can ignore it and hope the system stays stable for the rest of your life. Or you can start preparing, learning how to protect your wealth from inflation, currency devaluation, and the unpredictable twists of history. Because in the end, the most valuable currency you will ever own is knowledge. And here at Investor School, we're turning that knowledge into power.